former secretary to the government, please, thank you, Boss Mustafa, for all you've been doing, and the representative of the judiciary. I appreciate your person. Yeah. Tony, critical path analysis of Nigerian economic recovery was mentioned by you. But as I accept the roadmap enunciated here and expecting what will come out of the great topic of tonight and the following week, the challenge is all for us to pull together a united Nigeria committed to national greatness, unless we do it by ourselves. Unless we employ change of mindset, we cannot achieve the desired progress. I'm not being cynical. I'm being factual. The hope is here. The critical changes and bold endeavors will be embarked on by this nation, depending on the cooperation and the collaboration of all of you in the private sector, the drivers of the economic growth and prosperity. Yes, it is a shame not to have electricity for the majority of homes in Nigeria. Yes, poverty is not a shameful thing, but not acceptable. We must banish it. So you all, rigorously thinking of investing in Nigeria must be a dream. But let's interrogate, how did we get here? The hardship. But can we continue to service external debts with over 90% of our revenue? It's a path to destruction. We cannot continue that.
The video you watch is that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the Nigerian Bar Association annual conference, where he delivered a speech. And in that speech, I just gave you just a bridge, a small part of it, an excerpt from it, because it was about a 15 minutes speech. Throughout the speech, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu never mentioned the word corruption. And he was presenting the problems of Nigeria and was wondering from his statement you have seen why we don't have electricity, why there is poverty and all that. But he conveniently failed to remember that the reason this country is the way it is today is because of corruption. but he didn't mention it at all as an issue that is the big elephant in the room that was not addressed in his address. All the problems he itemized cannot be solved by changing he said that people should change their mindset. That is not the solution to Nigeria's problem. The solution is in tackling corruption. Corruption is the reason why Nigeria is not moving forward. That is why, despite the trillions of dollars that had been invested in the electricity sector, Nigerians are being given darkness instead of light. It is because of corruption. There is no pipe-borne water in Nigeria. Most cities in Nigeria do not have pipe-borne water. Most people rely on well water and drilling of borehole. The schools are in dilapidated condition because of corruption. There is disillusionment in the country today that are largely the result of corruption. The high level of unemployment in Nigeria today is linked to corruption. Virtually everything, even the present condition of the naira vis-a-vis the dollar, are all linked to corruption. The reason Nigeria cannot meet its quota in OPEC is because of corruption. The reason why we don't have enough resources for us to be able to defend the dollar, the naira, is all tied down to corruption. If we had less corruption, we will have more development and less crime, and we'll have more employment. That's a big hole. That was a big hole in all the speech he delivered that day, because he didn't address the elephant in the room. But it was not. I was not surprised, because Tinubu never said he's coming to fight corruption, and that was basically also one of the reasons Nigerians rejected him, because Nigerians know that corruption is the bane of our development. Former President Muhammad Buhari understood this. That was why he keyed into the war against corruption as the mantra with which he used in winning the hearts of Nigerians. The reason why Nigerians today are gravitating towards Peter Obi is because Peter Obi has presented himself, and his legacy has shown that he's a man of integrity, a man who is not corrupt, a man who does not condone corruption, a man whose tenure represents clear evidence of transparency and accountability than ever seen in any state in Nigeria's history. The good way that Peter Obi is enjoying today is because of his integrity. He was the only candidate during the election that talks about fighting corruption. He was the only one. So I was not surprised that Tinubu didn't talk about corruption being a problem in our quest to become a developed nation or to improve our economy. Now, perhaps Tinubu don't know it, but a study had already been done by Price Waterhouse Coopers, PwC. They did a study on the consequences of corruption in Nigeria. Now, this leading professional service firm, Price Waterhouse, during the time of during the administration of Buhari, they presented a report titled "Impact of Corruption on Nigeria's Economy," which they presented to former Vice President Yemi Osibanjo at the presidential villa. And that report contained what corruption has done to this country. And anybody who wants to see to improvement in the economy, living standard of Nigerians, must go and study that report. And that report was a clear indication that unless you address corruption, you have not started in leadership in Nigeria. You have not done anything. You must address corruption. Unfortunately, Tinubu is not expected to address corruption because that's not what he promised. Okay. Now, the PwC, that's Price Waterhouse Coopers, that report, their team was led by the people that did the report was led by Mr. Uyi Akpata. Now, the study centered on the ways in which corruption had impacted the Nigerian economy over time and provided evidence and impetus for reducing corruption in Nigeria. Now, the result of the study showed that corruption in Nigeria cost up to 37% of the gross domestic product by 2030. That's their projection, if it is not dealt with immediately. Let's get it again. The results of the study show that corruption in Nigeria could cost up to 37% of gross domestic product by 2030 if it is not dealt with immediately. Now, they said that this cost is equated to around $1,000 per person in 2014 and nearly $2,000 per person by 2030. Now, the boost in average income that they estimated gave the current per capita income can significantly improve the lives of many in Nigeria. They did a combination of other things that could improve the average income of other Nigerians. But for that boost they come to be possible, corruption had to be tackled. So it is therefore strange that Tinubu, a president of Nigeria, will lay solution to the country's present economic situation without talking about corruption. Because corruption is an issue that must be addressed. It is the big elephant in the room that must be addressed. And this present administration cannot address it. And they cannot run away with it. They cannot run from it. The other day, the coalition of civil society organizations wrote open letter to the president because they are and alleged that so many people with corruption baggage are in his government, in Tinubu's government, ministers, both those who are principal officers in the National Assembly. They have anti-corruption cases here and there. So how does a country like Nigeria, where we know that corruption is at the center of our underdevelopment, how can we develop without talking about corruption, without fighting corruption? It means that the country is going nowhere. Nigeria is going nowhere under Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu without the issue of corruption being addressed. That's a fact. Go and ask anybody. The problem with Nigeria is lack of leadership and corruption. That is what is stalling the full economic growth of this country. Corruption. Corruption is at the center of it. And this thing did not start today, but it has gotten monumental in recent time. It has gotten monumental. Today, we are the poverty capital of the world because of corruption. Today, Nigeria is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. They don't even debate it anymore. Nigeria has become a password for corruption all over the world. Anywhere you mention Nigeria, the next thing that comes to people's mind is either 419 or corruption. 419 is when they see our youths. When they see our leaders, all they think about is these are corrupt people. And the evidence is showing. Evidence is showing. Look at an oil-producing nation like Nigeria. The price of oil has been hitting the roof. Yet, we have only about $3.7 billion in our foreign reserve. It is shameful, and this is largely because of corruption. There's no other thing you can use to explain it. Corruption is at the center of it. And this issue of corruption had been a problem in Nigeria. That is why this country needed a leader like Peter Obi. A leader that those who are in his government will be afraid of him, knowing that he's a man of integrity, a man of character, that he will not condone anything that has to do with corruption. That if he finds out that any of his ministers, of his officials were involved in corruption, that he will deal with them. But when you are in a situation where corruption is not being talked about, what you get is a romancing of corruption. And that will continue to make Nigeria to remain a crawling giant for a very long time to come. There is no two ways about it. So that speech that Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu delivered, in which some people are praising, that speech is empty because it failed to address the fundamental problem facing Nigeria, which is corruption. But do you blame him when he never told you that he's coming to fight corruption? Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.